Hi, my name is Chris, and I am the storyteller for this Changeling the Lost Chronicle, entitled At Sixes and Sevens. This is Chapter 1, The Escape.
And this is Scene 1, entitled Padded Cells.
Okay, John, the thorny branches scratch you as you run through them. Your feet are splashing in swampy, muddy ground, and you're striving towards a distant light. A yellow light. You can see beyond it what you remember vaguely as a concept of home. And you're fighting, and you're kind of struggling. You fall. Your hands end up in the mud, and you're trying to pull yourself forward. Make a resolve plus composure roll for me, please.
Reroll on 10s, right?
Yes. Reroll 10s.
2 successes.
2?
Yes.
All right. Okay, Dragonheart. I'm going to call you DH. DH.
Cool.
You are climbing out of a pile of bodies. You're actually pushing the bodies away. It's this massive mound, and you see light kind of streaming through. You're covered in gore, and you're just striving through this massive pile of disgusting body parts. And you can see the light above you, and you're struggling, and the stench is overpowering. The charnel heat of the bodies is intense, and you're just trying to fight to the surface. It's almost like you're swimming through the bodies, trying to fight up to the surface for air. Resolve plus composure.
2 successes.
All right. Okay. Once.
Yes.
You are running down a kind of wooden Victorian type interior hallway. You've got wooden walls, whitewashed wooden walls, and you're running down this hardwood floor, and you're running from some menace, and you can see a doorway, and beyond the doorway you can see a wall of vegetation, garden, overgrown garden, and you're striving for it because you know instinctively that means escape, that means freedom. And you have actually, kind of as you're running, there are strings that are streaming behind you that are attached to your hands and attached to the back of your head. You can feel them streaming behind you, like they've been kind of cut, almost like a puppet or a marionette, that strings have been cut, and you're finally striving for freedom. Resolve plus composure form.
6 dice.
Nice roll.
4 successes.
All right, good. All right, John.
Yes.
So, I've described the scene to you. What are you going to do? You're going to keep fighting for that light?
Yeah.
All right, give me another resolve plus composure. Now you've fallen and you're crawling through the mud and just trying to push yourself forward, and the brambles are getting thicker and thicker and thicker.
1 success.
All right, okay. DH, you crawl up and you actually swim up through the bodies, and you pull yourself up, and you're looking, and you look around, and you're in the middle of a massive battlefield. The remains, the aftermath of a battle, I should say, not a battlefield where they're actually fighting. There's just piles and mounds of bodies around you. And the sky is the blood red of twilight. There are crows and vultures all over the place, and you can hear their caws and their screams ringing in your ears. And you see, kind of on the edge of the battlefield, this wall of vegetation. And again, just like with once, you feel that represents freedom, and you kind of understand that, and you just want to get away from all of the horrors surrounding you that you've been through. And you kind of know that this pile of bodies that you had to crawl out of, you caused that. You're responsible for everything you see, and you feel that very heavily on you. So what are you going to do?
I feel the need to get away, and I feel my connection with my Fey Master is very strong. He kind of, I'm also known as the wielder of this master, is this sort of the wielder of war, but this just overwhelming desire to run to the vegetation, to freedom, has taken me over so much that even my loyalty to my master and the fear of what he might do to me is being quelled by this overwhelming desire to just get away. So I'm going to take off towards that wall of vegetation.
Okay, so you crawl up through it and you roll down the hill of bodies, and it's a good roll. Roll resolve plus composure. 2. All right, 2. Awesome. All right, once.
Yes.
You're striving towards that door at the end of this wooden hallway, and you're running past other doors, closed doors. You just know that that's where you need to be. Please roll resolve plus composure again.
As I'm doing that, as I'm thinking.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yes. As I'm doing that, I remember that in my pocket, I have my silken shoes, these shoes that are spun of strange silkworms that grow in the hedge, that are embroidered with golden thread and have tiny pearls throughout them. And if I can put those on, I can run and not leave a trace. So as I'm running, I'm putting them on my bare feet, sliding them on, and as I do, I begin to slowly, kind of just quickly run across as if my feet are barely touching the ground.
Are you trying to do it while you're running?
I pause for a moment and do it.
All right.
And 0 on my resolve plus composure.
All right, John.
Yes.
You finally make it crawling through to the edge of the thorns, and you're striving for the light. And as you get close to the light, you can see that it's kind of floating off the ground, up above you, maybe 8 feet. And you realize as you get close that it's actually not necessarily like a street light or something like that.
Yeah.
It's actually a face, a snarling, horrible face that as you get close to you, it swims, like slides down towards you, straight at you. And just as, and you cringe back, your instinctual reaction is to cringe back, to run, to even run back into the hedge to get away from this monstrous face that's coming at you. And as it envelops you, you sit up and look around you.
Okay.
You're in a very small room, maybe 8 foot by 8 foot. You were lying on the ground, which as you reach around and you kind of see where you're lying, is padded. You notice the walls are padded. There's a single door that you look up and see, padded on the inside, but there's a small window, glass window in it. And the window has been broken.
Are we able to use our abilities right now, or do we have to think of ourselves as before the hedge?
Your knowledge of yourself is as a changeling.
Okay.
As from the moment you escaped. That's your knowledge.
Okay.
What your realization is as you sit up and you take a deep breath, like, oh God, you're terrified of what just happened. You realize you were dreaming. But your knowledge of yourself is of a changeling. You know what I mean?
I think so, but my only question is, when I built my changeling, I'm at 23. Before I went into the hedge, I was 10. So what I'm asking is, am I 10 or am I 23?
You're 23.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
That's all I want, so I'm using this. Got it.
Not your fetch, no.
Right.
Or your...
I made a kid.
Pre-self.
Yeah. No,
Okay,
no.
cool.
You
Just
are,
making sure.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. DH. You've rolling down to the bottom. You kind of crawled up onto... You've gotten up to your feet. And I'm assuming you're making your way across the battlefield.
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything you're doing as you kind of make your way across? I mean, basically, you're having to navigate these charnel, these massive mounds of bodies and gore. And honestly, it's definitely weighing on you as you make your way across this battlefield.
I start out walking, sort of as a very prideful individual. I've only done my duty, and as I get closer to this vegetation, I just feel like I have to run.
All right.
Like I have to get away from this. This is all I've ever known, and it's all I've ever wanted. But right now, I can't get away from it fast enough.
All right.
So, I mean, I'm running, but I'm looking for any of my soldiers that might still be alive, because they're still my men, and I hope they're alive. But as I'm running past, I'm just seeing all these dead bodies and all the faces of the men that I've got killed, and I have to get away. So I'm basically just booking it.
Okay, cool. Resolve plus composure again.
3 successes.
Okay, good. All right, once. Okay,
Yes.
so you're kind of paused to put on your shoes.
Yes, slip them on.
And you feel this presence behind you
Uh-oh.
before you could take off. And you turn to look over your shoulder and you see this wall of darkness kind of roiling after you.
Oof.
And as you turn to take a step to run, to move, it envelops you. and you it's almost like you've been dropped into a pool of water, and you're fighting for breath, you're fighting for the surface, for that freedom you felt, and you have this feeling in your gut that you're never going to reach that freedom, and that's when your eyes open, and you find yourself in a room similar to the one described to John, 8x8, padded walls, padded door, small glass window. All right. Okay, John.
Yes.
Okay, you're where I described you.
Yeah. How high is the window?
It's about head height for, say, a just under 6 foot tall person, like an observation window.
Okay. And you said mine was broken.
Yes, yours is broken.
Is it big enough that I could crawl through?
Absolutely not.
How big is it?
It is maybe foot by a foot. There are shards of glass kind of sticking different angles.
Okay. I'm gonna stand back a little bit
Uh-huh.
and try to grab, run up the wallish jump kind of thing, and try to grab onto whatever. Is there a pane or something thing I could grab onto?
Well, no, it's actually in the door. I'm sorry, I misdescribed.
It's in the
The
door.
window is in the door, like someone would come and observe you and look in on you.
Okay, I thought when you said window, I thought you meant on
Yeah.
the wall.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's about 8 inches by 8 inches. It's basically an observation window that someone would come and look in on you.
Right.
You notice now that you've kind of you've gotten up, you've kind of walking around a little bit. There's no other furniture in the room at all. You don't know how you got here, so your mind and you're used to being in Arcadia, so your mind is very confused.
Mm-hmm.
But your brain is associating what you're wearing with hospital.
Okay.
So it's a basic type of green
Scrubs.
Not scrubs though, not like a doctor, but more like a patient.
Right.
Gown.
Not a gown.
Not a gown.
No.
But like gray sweatpants and
Exactly.
like a
exactly.
t-shirt.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm assuming barefoot too.
Yes, barefoot.
Okay. And it's broken glass. But is there a screen? Like a mesh? Or is it just
There was a mesh.
could I stick my arm through it?
Yes, you could.
Okay. First off, I want to. Is there a piece big enough that I can break off for myself? As a blade type thing?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Give me a. Is that what you're gonna do?
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna clear out the glass, but take a larger chunk as a knife.
All right. Let's go with. That would probably, I'm gonna say dexterity, because you're gonna use finesse, because you're not gonna try to bull through it.
Right. Well, once I take off the one.
Or I should say, are you
want,
being
that'll be
careful, or are you being because your
piece
brain
I
is
want-
confused?
For the
So
piece
you're
I want, I'm being careful because I want to get a nice sharp piece. For the rest of it, I'm just cleaning out the rest of the glass.
all right. What are you gonna use to clean it up?
I'm not thinking, so probably just my hand, just bashing.
Let's start with the dexterity,
Okay.
and I'm gonna give you crafts for
Yes.
carefully removing the piece.
Okay, here we go.
Now, wait.
Yes. Don't roll.
Okay, tell me what your dice pool is.
5.
5. Because this is kind of, it's kind of a shattered window and there's not too much to work with, I'm going to take away 2 dice.
Okay.
Now, the way we're going to do it is we're going to do it similar to the other podcast. Knights of the Night does it right. I ask you for a pool first. You decide whether or not you want to add or risk willpower. Then I'm going to give you your negatives and you roll.
Oh, okay.
You don't have any equipment you're using. There's nothing, no
Right.
bonuses, so it's straight 5 minus 2. Roll away.
I got no successes.
No? None? Let's just say you can't find a piece that's long enough.
Okay.
It works. You've tried messing around with it. All right. DH. You finally make it to the edge. You've been through this battlefield, and you feel this weight start to lift. Okay, I did that. I was responsible for that, but I'm moving away from it. I'm seeking freedom. I'm seeking escape, and that makes you feel less guilty. There's hope. There's a bit of hope. What's your virtue again?
Fortitude.
Fortitude. Okay, fair enough. But just as you're at the edge and you're passing that last mound, a hand reaches out from the bottom. A gnarly, bloody hand reaches out, grabs your ankle, and starts to drag you deep back into the mound. And you're fighting, and you're clawing at anything, and you're grabbing body parts and weapons and armor and anything just to hold you, but it's all slipping through your fingers. And you're getting dragged back onto the mound. And just as you're about to go into it, just as it's about to fall over your vision, and you're going to be completely absorbed back into this battlefield that you were so trying to get away from, you sit up, your eyes open, and again, you're in the same type of room that John and Once are in, the 8x8 padded cell.